Hello, everyone. My name is Alex Green, and this will be a Pecha Kucha presentation on how I can use theory of constraints concepts to improve my personal life. For this PowerPoint, I will be using the example of improving my sleep habits. The theory of constraints is a management technique that focuses on finding constraints or bottlenecks in a system and exploiting those constraints to allow people or organizations to reach their goals. These bottlenecks are found through the use of several conceptual tools, which often lead to objectives that can be put into action. The theory of constraints focuses on the concept of inherent simplicity. Because of this, the tools can be used in complex manufacturing plants, as we saw in the goal, or for personal issues such as saving a relationship, or in this case, getting more sleep. Keeping ideas simple will lead the user closer to finding the root cause of the issue. I currently work as an instructor pilot in the Air Force. A standard day at work consists of a lot of the same basic work functions that a normal office job would entail. I have to check email, work on additional duties, plan schedules, and keep track of internal metrics. These duties are essential and must be done by the pilots in the squadron to keep the operation moving. The main difference is that I have to dedicate about 6 hours of my day to briefing, flying, and debriefing. As you can imagine, this makes it difficult to accomplish all of the other duties that I spoke on before. Because of this, it's not uncommon to work 12-hour days multiple times a week, with the average being about 10 hours. Studies have shown that sleep quality is greatly improved when you can get a consistent schedule. But due to the variability of the job, staying on a consistent schedule is difficult. Briefings can start anywhere from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m., depending on if you're flying morning or nights. This variability leads to vastly different wake-up times, and unfortunately, I often fail to change my bedtime to accommodate. One of the methods used to apply the theory of constraints tools is called the snowflake method. To use this method, the first step is to select a subject matter. For this situation, I would define the subject as, I am currently getting 5 to 6 hours of sleep per night, and I need that to improve to 8 hours of sleep per night. To continue the process, I would then identify the undesirable effects of not getting enough sleep. Examples: my performance at work suffers. I am more likely to unsafely operate the aircraft. My motivation to exercise is reduced. I drink more caffeine to compensate for being tired, and I cannot fully appreciate the time that I get to spend with my wife because I'm so tired. Chapter 38 in the textbook describes using theory of constraints for personal dilemmas such as this. The process starts with verbalizing objectives, strategies, and performance measures. The objective is to get 8 hours of sleep per night. The strategy is to change my habits and my work patterns to accommodate that sleep better. And the performance measures will be a log of sleep over a specific time period. The next step is the most important in my opinion. You must list the activities that you must perform to accomplish this goal. I came up with 6 activities to help me sleep more. Get schoolwork done well before the deadlines to avoid last-minute cram sessions. Turn off devices 1 hour before bed. And make the most of the time spent with my wife doing activities as simple as eating breakfast together. And then work with the schedulers to avoid flipping my schedule as much as possible, reduce caffeine intake, and exercise more frequently. When ranking these priorities, I would place working with the schedulers to avoid flipping my schedule at the top of the list. Doing so will allow me to create a more standard bedtime and wake-up time. But while not impossible to request, the schedulers may have some pushback on this issue. I would then rank making the most of the time with my wife, because the main reason I find myself staying up late is because we enjoy watching movies together and spending time with our cat. After those two, I would rank getting my schoolwork done on time, exercising more, and reducing caffeine intake. The biggest resource required in this equation is time. There are not many physical resources that I need to accomplish these goals, as they will mainly come from self-discipline and proper time management. I am a resource, however, that my squadron needs to fly, so changing my work schedule could be difficult with that in mind. The next step is to develop a plan to accomplish these goals. In an ideal world, each week, I should be able to fly either mornings or nights. If I fly mornings, I would need to wake up by 5, get ready, eat breakfast, and leave the house by 5:30. Arrive at work at 6, and then attempt to keep my workday below 10 hours. Assuming a 10-hour day, I would work until 4, arrive back home at 4:30, and then in the 5 hours that I have before bed, I would work out for 30 minutes, do homework for an hour, shower, eat dinner, and spend time with my wife before going to bed at 9 o'clock. If I flew nights instead, The schedule will be different, but have the same basic elements. I would wake up slightly later, get my exercise and homework done in the morning before work, spend time with my wife before she starts working, and then go to work, come straight home, and go to sleep. Although not directly listed, accomplishing these steps would require all of the activities that I spoke of. I will need to drink less caffeine so it does not keep me up at night. I need to turn my devices off for the same reason. And I will need to make the most of the time that I do have with my wife so that we do not lose quality time due to me going to sleep so early. Of course, I will likely not achieve my goal overnight or even in the first month. Monitoring the progress of these tools will be important to continue the process of ongoing improvement. The use of a prerequisite tree would be very helpful to identify some potential obstacles that I may face and cause me to think of intermediate objectives to overcome them. Applying these strategies to my life will lead to great benefit. Through the use of the 5 focusing steps of theory of constraints, I should be able to identify what constraints are keeping me from sleeping more, how to exploit them, how to subordinate everything else in my life to them, and then elevate them to complete the process. This is only one example where I can use the theory of constraints to help in my personal life. The theories will be in the back of my mind when working through problems as simple as keeping my car maintained to how I can impress my boss to get promoted faster. As long as you remember the rule of inherent simplicity, these tools can be applied to just about anything.